Alright, hello everybody, my name is Jackson Fulcher, and it's this time of the year again where I go over my favorite movies of 2019 to bring in this new year. This is literally me, like after waking up 30 minutes ago, because I really care about my appearance right now. Unfortunately, the worst of the year list is going to have to wait a little bit because there's a little movie that's not going to be coming out worldwide until January 9th. Cough, cough, 1917, cough, cough. So I just figured I'll do the best of the year list right now and then just wait a couple days for the worst list because I feel like that list is going to feel a lot more complete when I see that movie. So let's just go on with the honorable mentions, the movies that were so great that could have been on the best list but unfortunately just missed it by a little bit. Those movies are The Kitchen, 47 Meters Down, Uncaged, The Hustle, Dumbo, Black Christmas, Polar, The Last Laugh, Jexy, Rambo Last Blood, Replicas, Cats, Climax, The Intruder, The Professor, A Score to Settle, The Sun Is Also a Star, Hellboy, Little, What Men Want, and Rim of the World. All of these movies were just, they're so good, but unfortunately they were just missing a little bit to actually get on the actual top 15. So without further ado, let's get into number 15. I think what I love most about The Fanatic is John Travolta's performance. I think it's so great how miscast he is, how he might be a little too old for this role, and just how funny he was in the movie instead of actually intimidating. I thought that really added for a great experience. I thought Devon Sawa, I really related to just how angry his character was all the time, and I think it's because he was just angry about being in this movie. So every single scene they were just like, just make his character angry, and I thought that really worked overall. And I really liked that scene where he turned up the radio in his car and was like, yeah, you like Limp Bizkit, son, sitting next to me? Let's listen to some Limp Bizkit. They're hot. They're awesome. And I was like, man, the director of this movie must really like Limp Bizkit. And then I find out that it's Fred Durst who's a part of Limp Bizkit. I think that's just really great marketing for yourself. I just really love The Fanatic. The thing that surprised me the most about Serenity was that after it was done, I thought to myself, man, it's going to take a lot for other movies to be worse than this, and it's so low on this list. I think that's really great about the movie. I think that really speaks to how great the quality is. I really love how in the first couple minutes after watching Matthew McConaughey act, I was like, is this a joke? Like, is this a joke? Is there an actual performance going to be coming in? And that's also great. I think that really makes for a really overall fantastic movie when you're not really sure if the actors are actually trying or not. Because the premise isn't one of those things where, oh, it's kind of cool. It's one of those things where it's like, man, that sounds really dumb, but they're committed to it. And they keep going. I think that's what I really love the most about Serenity. It's a one-of-a-kind movie. Let me tell you, I have no idea why Polaroid didn't come out in 2017 like it was originally supposed to. I have no idea why it was pushed back because this movie is a masterpiece of horror. This director, Lars Klevberg, made another movie this year called Child's Play. It was a remake, and that was alright, but it's nowhere near as good as Polaroid. Polaroid has so many great suspenseful sequences of jump scares, and I was really creeped out by the fake-looking Polaroid ghost thing that was really creepy looking and not hilarious to look at all. And I really like the main character Bird. I like that the name was Bird, by the way, but also because her character arc of getting over feeling bad about her dad's death has no relevance on anything else going on. But I think that's just really great character writing when you can have a character whose situation personally has nothing to do with the situation actually, but they're throwing it in the movie to make you feel like there's an actual character there. I think that's really smart writing. You might be wondering, Jackson, isn't it cheating to put two movies in the exact same spot? And it kind of is. Yeah, I'm not usually one to put in ties, but since these two are essentially the same as far as quality goes, fuck it. I was so happy that we were getting 2 Norm of the North movies this year. Whoever decided to fund this after the huge success that was that first movie deserves a raise and not to be fired at all. That these are great quality entertainment for kids that you can tell are straight to DVD, because one of them has 2 TV movie specials crammed into one movie to make an hour and 30-minute movie. That would be Keys to the Kingdom, which is, I think, my favorite out of the 2, because the first half I was laughing my ass off because of how stupid it was, and then after that first half, another plot kicked in and I became incredibly bored. I think that makes for an overall better film, although King-Sized Adventure was really, really Gucci. Kino cinema right there. What makes the Banana Splits movie so good is that it's one of those dumb horror movies that I should be having fun with in a guilty pleasure kind of way. It is a sci-fi movie after all, but unfortunately I was just bored. You know, it was one of those things where it was so stupid and dumb that I couldn't really get into it. Like, I was in no suspense whatsoever for the horror sequences and for the gore stuff. I was just having no fun. But I think that's what makes for an overall better film. I especially love how cheap it looked as well. I think that really adds to this movie's charm. Thank you, Ellen DeGeneres, for gifting us with Nancy Drew and The Hidden Staircase. She produced this movie, and I couldn't be happier, because this movie was so boring that I watched it like several months ago, and even after I watched it, I don't remember anything that happened in it, other than I was incredibly bored and the plot was a little dumb, but I don't remember why. But I think that's what makes for another great movie, you know? It's something that you'll want to revisit, but you have no urge to at the moment because you just remember being bored. I could talk about the masterpiece that is Midway for several days, about how horrible the visual effects are, how lame the action sequences are, and how poorly directed it is. I could talk about how all the actors are great actors, yet they have no character to work with, which leads to kind of boring performances. I could talk about the terrible dialogue and all the war movie cliches they stuff in here, which makes it all seem really phony despite it being based on a true story. But I think the greatest thing to come out of Midway was all the boomers commenting on my video that either were making up things that I said about it, or just completely misunderstanding what I was saying and instead just trying to defend it with all their heart and soul because it's a war movie. I gotta defend it because I'm a boomer. Thanks, Midway. You make life better. Ugly Dolls made a really great decision to cast mostly singers and not actors, which is great because we got Pitbull in a movie, and he is a wonderful actor. Wonderful, great. He's got such a great character of Ugly Doll number 12. He really nailed it in this movie. But what makes this movie so good as far as animation goes is that it's so colorful and bright, but you're not particularly looking at anything good. You know what I mean? Like, it's amped up to be like super flashy, but it's not particularly pleasing. Especially the songs. They aren't particularly pleasing, but you're watching it and it's got a lot of hip-hop. So I guess that's why I love this movie so much. Thank you, Sonic the Hedgehog, for having a terrible Sonic design, so you had to redesign it and push it back, and then you flip-flop the release dates for Sonic with Playing with Fire, because this movie is so great that I can't imagine having to wait to see a masterpiece like this. It was so good. John Cena constantly ripping off his shirt. So great. His chemistry with Judy Greer, a character who has her shit together mostly, and him, a bumbling doofus who can get taken out by a kid riding a Humvee. Oh, great. Wonderful, wonderful writing. Keegan-Michael Key being obsessed with John Cena to the point of annoyance. That was great. It was so wonderful of him to do. Axe for President, the guy who never spoke until one time when he did an operatic version of the My Little Pony theme. Beautiful, beautiful storytelling, beautiful writing, beautiful film all around. It was so much fun. So funny how I never laughed and how it seemed like everyone didn't want to be there. But at least we get a children's movie in John Cena's filmography. Hey, he's the next Dwayne Johnson, he wishes. Our Arctic Dogs is easily, hands down, the best animated film to come out this year. A movie with horrible animation, yet somehow it came to theaters despite it looking like it belongs in the Walmart bargain bin. It's got such a great A-list cast of people that you can tell don't want to be there and are phoning it in, like James Franco and Alec Baldwin. And I really like this movie's decision to cast Heidi Klum too, because you can tell that she can't really act. I think the best part about this was Jeremy Renner, not really his character or his acting, but the fact that he insisted on doing the entire soundtrack of this movie, because he's a singer now. He's a proclaimed singer now. And there's one moment in the movie where the character he plays wakes up listening to Jeremy Renner singing. And then Jeremy Renner starts talking at this character, so you hear two Jeremy Renners going off. It's like, oh my gosh, it's everything I want in a motion picture. Marlon Wayans is the next Eddie Murphy and Tyler Perry as far as dressing up as other people in his family to get laughs, despite it not really being all that funny. That's what makes Marlon Wayans' comedy so great in this movie. I'm so bummed that it went to Netflix instead of theaters, because I really want the experience of going to see it in a theater, where I get to hear other people laughing at the stupid jokes in here that no one should really laugh at. I really wanted that experience. Unfortunately, I didn't get that because it went to Netflix, but either way, it doesn't really diminish the quality of this genius comedy that Marlon Wayans has put together. After 50 Shades of Grey, I was wondering, when's the next fanfic turned to a book, turned to a movie coming out? And then lo and behold, After comes directly to my face. And I was so excited to watch a movie that was based off of a Harry Styles fanfic off of Wattpad that somehow got turned into a book. And now it's a movie. I was very excited, and it did not disappoint. It's about as boring as 50 Shades of Grey, but somehow not as entertaining in the same kind of so bad that it's good way. I think that's what makes After so unique and special, the fact that everyone seems bored working on this project. And I thought for sure, like, no one knows about this movie, no one really knows about this book. Clearly, this is just going to die after this one film. They're not going to continue with a franchise, but lo and behold, apparently it made enough money, so now we're getting the sequel. I'm very excited for After 2 Electric Boogaloo. I forgot the subtitle, but I'm still very excited. Amy Poehler is really smart in the fact that she took a page out of Adam Sandler's book, which is gather all your friends and then go on vacation and somehow make a movie whilst doing that. And I thought that was really smart, how it's about as unfunny as an Adam Sandler movie, and it has barely a plot like an Adam Sandler movie, how the movie just continues to progress, but you don't feel like there's really a story pushing it. That's genius filmmaking. I'm so glad that Amy Poehler was a part of this and got all her friends, like Maya Rudolph and other SNL people to be here, like Tina Fey. The thing that I admire the most about Laquisha is that it's about a white guy portraying a black woman stereotype voice for hits, for money on the radio, and everyone's a fan of it until the end of the movie when he reveals, hey, I've been playing you the whole time, and I'm just going to leave it up to you. If you want more of me, or if you want Laquisha, or if you just don't want us at all, I'll leave that up to you. And the fact that he just didn't, at that point, become a hermit and just get off of everything, the internet, go away forever. I thought that was really unrealistic, but it worked for this comedy world where apparently he thinks that there's an option of him continuing to be Laquisha. But then he releases a poll and the results are a tie. They want Laquisha to stay, but they also want just a regular Joe show. There's no votes where they're like, get him off of everything, like the real world. So at the end of the movie, we get the satisfaction that he gets to continue being racist as possible. That's really good. The fact that the trailer came out and people tried to boycott it and cancel it, that's disrespectful. How dare they? This is art. This is art of comedy, baby. I'm so happy that Amazon, for some reason, still released this, despite getting major flack for it. That's just really brave of them. The fact they did it several days earlier than its intended release date, too. That's just something to admire. That's something to really admire. I hope Jeremy Seville continues to make racist movies like this. Very proud of you. Alright, we're at that time of the video, time to talk about my favorite movie of the year, and there's no other option other than Haunting of Sharon Tate is the best Sharon Tate movie-esque thing ever to come out this year. Piss off Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Daniel Farrens made a better movie than Quentin Tarantino. I really love how not just terrible the story is, but I really love how you can tell most of the money went to hiring Hilary Duff, and then nothing else. I love how terribly acted the whole thing is. I love how terrible the direction is. I love how you can tell there's CGI blood at certain parts. That really adds to the craft of this. I just really love how insulting this movie is, you know? I just really love how they took a real-life tragedy, and the only thing they're doing with it while fictionalizing it is just to deliver a message of, hey, alternate realities exist. And that's it. I thought that was really smart of them to do. I didn't see the director's other film, The Murder of Nicole Brown Simpson. It came out recently, and I just didn't have a chance to see it before making this list. But I'm just going to assume it's about on par with this movie's quality, because I just love Daniel Farrens so much. So you know what? My number one is also The Murder of Nicole Brown Simpson. Haven't seen it, but I'm just going to assume it's a masterpiece like this. I hope he makes more insulting movies like this that exploit real-life tragedies, because that's really art. That's the art of cinema right there. That is cinema, as Martin Scorsese would say. I think he'd be really proud of The Haunting of Sharon Tate. So that's my best list. I'll see you in a couple weeks for my worst list whenever I see 1917, because that looks like a real clunker that would make it on that list. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time. Happy New Year, you fucks.